I grew up in Maine. I actually grew up 5 miles from where I live now. I'm literally born and raised in Maine, and I love it. I love the 4 seasons, even though I complain about winter when it gets too cold and yucky out, but I love the 4 seasons. It's something very, very special and unique to me. I wouldn't change it for the world, and I don't want to leave ever. My name is Candice Simeoni, and I am a police officer for the state of Maine. I'm currently employed down in Kennebunk. I think what I'm mostly known for is my work, protecting our older population in the state of Maine. So for the past 21 years, I've made it my mission to protect our older population from abuse, exploitation, and fraud. I've been able to do that as a law enforcement officer for the state of Maine, and I've been able to travel nationwide to talk about my casework and to hopefully protect them in our future. So in 2005, I started what's called the York County Elder Abuse Task Force. I realized in my profession, law enforcement, I didn't discover a lot of resources to help my cases when I was working with our older population being victimized. So I started bringing in professionals, attorneys, healthcare professionals, bank institutions, other officers, so that the cases would be completed more successful than just me doing it alone. And it's called a multidisciplinary team, and now the model has been used nationwide. So the first word that comes to mind when I describe Maine is home. I'm born and raised in Maine. I'm a Mainer. I love the state of Maine, and that's why I think I'm so passionate about doing what I can to protect our older population in the future. For those of you who don't know, Maine is the oldest state in the nation by population age. And to me, I feel like they've taken care of us. We have a motto. I have a motto for the York County Elder Abuse Task Force, and that's taking care of those who once took care of us. And so I think for the state of Maine, being the oldest state in the nation, we have an obligation to make sure that we take care of them. They've paved the way to who we are today and what we have for our freedoms and our rights, and I feel like we need to take care of them. So unfortunately, that's not the case. Not only in the state of Maine, but nationwide, the abuse against our older population is growing. And so I'm hoping that we can lock arms together and make a difference and change that statistic for sure. So the Mainer that inspires me the most, past or present, is very hard because I have a lot of people who inspire me in my line of work. It's kind of negative. It's hard. I hold the hands of victims. I dry their eyes, their tears, and I feel like everybody that I make an obligation to help, they inspire me to continue. When it gets tough or when the statistics work against us, like I described, I just remember the people who I've made that promise to protect them to, and they inspire me for sure. I don't mean to sound redundant when I talk about our older population, but I truly think that they're our greatest asset. Like I've mentioned before, they have paved the way to who we are and what we have today, and they're often forgotten. A lot of people see them as who they are now versus what they've given us and who they were. And I think that sets them up for vulnerabilities. And so for me, I think they're our greatest asset, and I hope that more people recognize that. The biggest challenge would be, in my profession and what I see today, our biggest challenge is taking care of our older populations from vulnerability, but also housing is difficult right now for them. A lot of them live in their family farms and households, and those are too big for them, and there's not really much place for them to go thereafter. I also see, not really related to our older population, but I just see Maine in general, the struggles are we focus on what divides us more than what brings us together, and I see that in my job, but I also see that in my personal life as well. So I know we have some work to do, I think, and that's okay. It gives us another challenge to work together for. I picked up the hobby when I was actually a patrol officer in Elliott, and there was a little boy who was celebrating a birthday, and I wanted to make him feel special. I didn't think he liked police officers very much. I know he didn't. And so I made a cake in my uniform, and I delivered it to him, and that kind of kicked off my passion for making cakes, and now I'm called a sugar angel. And what that means is I make custom cakes for terminally and chronically ill children for free. In Maine and New Hampshire, and it's just something that I love to do, to give back to the community. And like I said, my job is kind of negative. People don't call me because they're having a good day, and so this gives me a reason, to do something, and I'm greeted by smiles. So it gives me goosebumps to talk about it because I can remember all the kids, but I love what Maine has to offer for sure.